Now back to McGraw in the Morning on the Big 550 KTRS. This hour is presented by Affordable Kitchens and Baths. Visit them today at affordablekitchensandbaths.net.
8:37. It's Wednesday. Kat Neville sitting in her seat. You can listen to us at KTRS. You can listen on your iPhone or your Android at KTRS app. Just download it free, and you can take the radio with you wherever you go, courtesy of your phone. And you can watch it all at KTRS TV at KTRS.com. It's all sponsored by our friends at Jimmy's on the Park. 706 DeMunn in Clayton, 725-8585. You can go to their website, jimmyscafe.com, and you can download their app on your smartphone, Jimmy's Cafe, for your app to Jimmy's on the Park. Good morning, Kat Neville.
Good morning.
Let's get right to it. You have a couple of restaurants for us.
I do. I thought this week we would take a little culinary trip,
right.
Kind of literally for one and figuratively for the other. The first one, let's go on the literal trip. I recently went out to St. Rose, Illinois, which is a teeny tiny town. I think maybe just a few hundred people, like maybe 600 people, something like that.
Got it.
And it's absolutely charming, an old German farming town. And they are home to a really great chop house. It's called Popeye's Chop House. And it has been in that spot since, I believe, the late 19th century, and it's kind of seen a number of different incarnations over the years. But the reason why it has the name Popeyes is because when it was a tavern, I guess in the 1920s, the owner's name was Popeye because when he was a kid, he kind of, I guess, broke into his neighbor's yard and stole spinach. And so they nicknamed him Popeye.
All right.
So now it is owned by a family that has owned a number of restaurants in the southern Illinois area. And first of all, I have to show the camera this really charming menu.
All right.
Isn't that adorable?
Beautiful.
I absolutely love it.
Oh, yeah.
And so you walk in and it's got this rustic charm. It's wood paneled, big bar, animal heads on the walls and old signs. It doesn't feel hokey, though. It just feels warm and has big fireplaces. And the food is just very straight up Americana chop house. They have, weren't you just talking about beef?
Yes.
And well, let's ignore the
Let's ignore the fact that you get heart disease with the beef. Let's just talk about the good part of the
everything
beef.
in moderation
Very
is what
good.
I say.
Yes.
And
I
so
say more the better. You have to die of something.
That's true. You do. Yeah, you can't live forever. And so they have like ribeyes, New York strips, fillets. They do prime rib that is grilled or oven roasted. If you are kind of moving in a different direction, they do a number of different chicken dishes. They even have chicken con broccoli, which is something that until I moved to the St. Louis area, I never heard anything like pasta con broccoli, chicken con broccoli.
What does that mean?
It means with broccoli,
Oh,
and
okay.
I guess a cheese sauce.
Oh, all right. Okay, good.
So it was just this kind of like it's the St. Louis wedding food where you hear it's muscatoli, pasta con broccoli, this kind of stuff. I had never heard of it until I moved here, and they do like a half fried chicken. They even have jumbo frog legs and all that kind of stuff. Everybody is super friendly. They have a really nice wine list. I was very impressed with the wines, and they do have a specials menu that is off of this kind of old-fashioned American menu. But I would stick with this because I think that this is kind of their wheelhouse. And even though they're offering things like mahi and
Right.
and that kind of stuff off the menu, stuffed pork chops, whatever, I really like kind of the old style stuff. And they have these skillet mushrooms where they take these big mushroom caps in an iron skillet and stuff them with crab meat and all these herbs and cheese and everything, and it's good stuff.
All right, so it's Popeye's Chop House.
Yes.
In St. Rose, Illinois.
Yes.
Which is just south of Highland, right? It's on the way.
I believe that's right.
It's on the way to Carlisle Lake.
Yes.
Right. So it's Highway 50.
You can take a number of different ways to get there.
Right, yeah. I have pulled it up on my Google Maps in front of me.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And so it's in between Highland and Highway 50 on the way to Carlisle Lake. So it's just off Highway 50.
And it's tiny and it's charming, and the biggest building in town is the church, and it was probably built at the turn of the century. It's
Right.
just it's worth the drive
How far would you say? An hour?
No, not even an hour. I would say 45 minutes, 50 minutes
and
from downtown.
Right. Once you get to St. Rose, it's pretty easy to find.
Yes. And it actually, I'm sorry, I didn't even give you the address. It's 17910 St. Rose Road.
17910
right in the middle of town.
St. Rose Road, right there in St. Rose, Illinois, on the way to Carlisle Lake. Popeye's Chop House.
Yes.
Sounds like a must. What's number 2?
Okay, number 2, we're going to take a figurative trip to Japan.
All right.
And your favorite, we're going to talk about sushi.
Okay.
Or Japanese food in general.
I do not discriminate.
So there is this great kind of local chain called Sushi I, which is sushi with then AI.
Okay.
And they have a number of locations: O'Fallon, Missouri; O'Fallon, Illinois;
okay.
Manchester; Maryland Heights; St. Charles. In my notes, I have St. Chuck, because I prefer to call it St. Chuck.
Okay.
And now they have a new location downtown. And the downtown location is at 910 Olive Street. It's only been open for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. I went in and I loved the food.
Really?
Yes, it was terrific. I have a weakness for dumplings, kind of any type. I like stuffed pastas. I like Japanese-style dumplings, Chinese-style dumplings. And so here they hand make their shumai, which is a steamed dumpling that is filled with shrimp. And the flavor of the shrimp, sometimes it can mostly taste like dough, or the shrimp doesn't have a lot of oomph to it. And here, the shrimp clearly was seasoned with some soy sauce. It had a little bit of sweetness to it, the way shrimp should. And it was lovely. It had a little bit of a kind of a dipping sauce. I would absolutely recommend that. They also have gyoza on the menu, which I absolutely adore. It's also a dumpling, but this is filled with pork, and it's pan-fried rather than steamed, and so you get a little bit of a caramelized, crisped edge to it. Really good stuff. Also, along with the sushi, I tried their udon, which is you can either get it dry or you can get it with broth. And I had the vegetable udon, and udon is a really thick noodle.
Okay.
And the vegetable, it had these big mushroom caps and pickled eggs and radish and broccoli and carrots and all these really kind of wonderful warming veggies in it, and it was topped with a fried egg, and it was just terrific.
When you think of sushi, you don't necessarily think of dumplings, do you?
Right, but see, that's what I was saying, is like it's also Japanese cuisine. So they do have they have a humongous sushi menu. Again, I will show. I love the video thing that we're doing. I can be like, look at this massive menu. So they have a really huge list, which it can be daunting, can be difficult to kind of get through everything. So I have some recommendations. Try the Halloween roll. I'm going to upload some photos when we upload this video to our site, feaststl.com. I'll upload some photos of their sushi rolls. The Halloween roll is soft shell crab that's been deep fried. It's with avocado, cucumber, and then masago. And then that is rolled and topped with 3 kinds of tobiko, which you won't like because it's basically caviar.
Okay.
And
at least you're learning.
And then it's kind of topped with dried seaweed or is really wonderful. It can be really crispy. It has a great kind of salty, slightly sea flavor to it, and they chop it up and they sprinkle it on top, and then that's kind of drizzled with more sauce on top of that. And so that tobiko is 3 different kinds, and that's where they get the idea of Halloween, because one is black, one is orange, and one is green, I believe. And so that's a really kind of over-the-top roll. One that's much more pared back that I can absolutely recommend is what they call the Pink Lady. And that has a sweet crab. And then if you really like seaweed salad, they mix seaweed salad with the crab inside of this roll. And then that's wrapped, rather than seaweed. Some people are like, I don't really like the texture of the seaweed. This one is wrapped in a pink soy paper. So it has kind of a soft sweetness to it. And then what they do is they put dollops of a creamy spicy sauce, and then kind of a chili sauce on top of that, and they serve each one of the slices on a slice of cucumber. It's really good.
I envy you.
Why?
Because
you don't even like sushi.
because you like all this stuff. You could waterboard me. I wouldn't eat this stuff.
Why would you not eat it?
Oh my goodness, seaweed?
You drive me crazy.
Oh, you have no idea how I drive you crazy.
Oh, okay. Why would you not eat seaweed?
Yeah,
tell me why.
Tell you
really,
why.
Verbalize why.
It's seaweed. I mean, Sigmund and the Sea Monster. It's seaweed. It's I don't know. It's a weed.
Well, I mean,
I know. So is spinach is a weed, and
right. I mean, we don't consider some of these other things weeds because we cultivate them. But seaweed is cultivated, and it's eaten in a number of different cuisines, and it's so incredibly good for you. And you'd be surprised. It's basically a vehicle for the sauce. It doesn't taste like much of anything.
Look, I know.
Like
I'm going to lose this argument. I know there's no rationale. I know there's no rationale for this. I know that. I understand it.
But you are just like other picky people. And I've always wondered what it's like to be in the mind of somebody who's like, I refuse to put that in my mouth. I refuse to eat that.
Do not go there. You do not want to wrestle around in my head because you'll find things that you are not looking for.
It's probably true. But seriously, like, I mean.
You should hear the things I don't say.
Oh, God. One of these days you'll tell me, and then we'll have a good laugh, I'm pretty sure. But really, when you think about it, all you're doing, and I said this to you last time, is you're denying yourself the experience.
Yes.
And if you don't like it, what's going to happen? It's not like your head's going to explode. Right. I mean, if you try something and you dislike it, don't eat it again.
Right.
This is what parents tell their children. I mean, it's just kind of like, at least you can try it. And if you love it, then there's something else. And there are things that I'm not a big fan of. Like when I was a kid, I think I've told this story before, my mother tried to get me to eat my peas, and I was not having it. I mean, I sat there at the table until they got really cold, and then I ate them. And it was not a pretty scene. And she never tried to make me eat them again.
What about peas now? Do you eat the peas now?
I'm still, if they're fresh,
yeah,
really great from the garden peas, then yeah.
What about like split pea soup?
Oh, love it.
Okay.
So the dried pea, I'm a fan. If peas are mixed in with things, good to go with that.
Okay.
But if you have a mound of peas, although smashed peas, English style, with a little bit of mince and maybe some lamb, that's good stuff.
Mushed peas are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also used to hate tomatoes until I had a real tomato from a farmer's market from somebody's backyard.
I know. I have a friend of mine who hated mushrooms. And I was like, how do you hate mushrooms?
Oh, so many people hate mushrooms because it's a texture thing for people.
Well, and then they tried it, a couple of my mushrooms, and they were like, holy mackerel, what are you making mushrooms
See, you
again?
Converted.
Right.
Like people say, I don't like beets. Well, you probably have had them out of a can,
right?
And so of course you don't like beets. Have them when they're properly prepared, like roasted. They're sweet.
Actually,
and so good.
I have had beets. Beets are pretty good.
Beets are good.
And you look, let's put it this way. You've brought me a long way, baby, from when we first started. I mean, I'm eating stuff I never would have eaten before.
Just try the seaweed salad.
So I'm going as fast as I can.
If it wasn't so early in the morning that I had to be here, I would bring you some sushi.
That's why you're on in the morning, so you can't get sushi. This is a sushi-free zone.
I can't force you to eat sushi on air.
All right. How is Feast Come Broccoli doing?
Feast Come Broccoli is fabulous.
Feast TV was on ABC 30.
Yes. Yep. We're going to be on ABC 30 from here on out. It's very, very exciting.
On Sunday mornings?
Yes, absolutely. On the second Sunday of the month.
Perfect.
And I think that we're actually going to be in the 9:30 time slot. Still confirming that.
Right.
And then as far as taking a trip, I want to remind everybody about the trip that we're taking with Altair Travel and Cruises.
Right.
We're going. We're cruising the Baltics for 10 days in September from the 3rd to the 13th, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be Copenhagen to Stockholm, 3 days in St. Petersburg, and I would love for the listeners to come with me.
That's a trip.
It's going to be really amazing. And the ship itself, Oceana, is like no other cruise line out there. It is a luxury vessel that is relatively small. It's basically like a floating high-end hotel, and it's awesome.
It's going to be fun. Altair Travel, 968-9600 or altairtravel.com. Have a good week.
Thanks, you too.
851 KTRS, St. Louis.
Looking for a place to plan your special occasion? Hi, I'm Jimmy Christo, owner of Jimmy's on the Park in Clayton. Our private party room accommodates groups up to 60 and offers many of our favorite menu items. Items like tenderloin Anthony, pepper steak with Jack Daniel's sauce, fresh grilled halibut, and oatmeal crusted chicken, just to mention a few. We pair these with our house or Caesar salad, homemade dessert, and a beverage at prefix prices beginning at just $28 per person. We also offer a full menu of appetizers for cocktail or casual parties. Check out our menus online at jimmyscafe.com or just give me a call at 725-8585. Jimmy's serving lunch Tuesday through Saturday, brunch on Sunday from 10 to 2, and dinner 7 nights a week. Call us for reservations at 725-8585. That's 725-8585. Join us for a meal you're sure to remember.